I'm Fraser Heggie. I'm CTO at Eutex. I worked for Eutex for 12 years now, in various positions, mostly based in Singapore. I started my career in 1986 as an apprentice in engineering, heavy engineering and paper mills, and moved on to the drinks industry in 1997. And that's where I first encountered my hazardous areas. So at the moment with Eutex working predominantly in oil and gas industry, where we have hydrocarbons that are explosive. But in those early days in my career, my explosive atmosphere was gin, whiskey, and vodka. I think it's the same philosophy, obviously. But when you describe people about where did you first encounter your hazardous area, I think it opens some people's eyes, and they think, "Oh wow, I thought you've always been an oil and gas, Fraser." But no, you've been 15 years in that drinks industry, and that's where you got your baseline on your ATEX and Desire type inspection and training, and that's where the background has come from basically for the last 30 years in hazardous area. I think it's something that I don't speak about much, but I do have a family connection to Piper Alpha. So I think based on that, I like to ensure that everybody comes home safe every day. And when I got the opportunity to work with Eutex, predominantly in the safety engineering, so complex training, EX inspections, hazardous area inspections, if you like, verifications, ATEX, IEC certification, it's all based on safety. Training people on how to work safely in hazardous areas, training people on how to install equipment safely in hazardous areas, supplying equipment that's safe for use in hazardous areas, certifying equipment that is safe for use in hazardous areas. That's basically the ethos of where I am, where I come from with the family connection. Want to make sure everyone's safe, want to make sure everyone comes home safely every day. And if this is my little bit towards safety, that's what makes it high on my personal agenda. My role as CTO is to ensure that everything technical is done in a compliant and safe manner. So we have to make sure that the people that come in on our training courses are trained in a compliant, safe manner. We have to provide our products in a compliant and safe manner. We have to supply our certification and our inspection campaigns in a compliant and safe manner. So there's so many checks and balances in place. And basically, I need to make sure that the technical team are doing everything they can to make sure that the ball is not dropped at any point. If anything, my experience, or if you see my managerial style, is to be calm even under pressure. Maybe like the ducklets like paddling wildly underneath that you can't see, but everything's calm on the top. So I worked with various managers and colleagues through the time, and some are so high and some are so low. So, but you need to try to maintain calmness at the time. So, if you're working in the office environment, your staff need to stay calm, not relaxed, but just make sure that you're doing everything properly. Same with the trainees in the class. When they get stressed out and stuff like that, our trainers, they sometimes give them breathing up exercises, allow them to stay calm. So if we all stay calm when we're working, we'll get to where we want to be. It's when panic comes in and then we start to do irrational things. So we might do something that we've never done before and we don't realize why we've done it. So I think the biggest experience that has shaped me throughout that time is that you need to stay calm, you need to stay focused, and you need to follow your procedures and make sure you do everything properly. And not only just in the UTEX organisation, if you like, but that's what we try to instill on the trainees in the classes and with our clients that we're doing inspection and verification campaigns for also. I think the most rewarding part of being at Eutex so far has been the people, basically. So seeing someone at the start of their journey blossoming into a professional is a good feeling. We've had many office staff, many inspection staff, certification staff, training staff. They've come on at one point and then they've stepped up within Eutex, uh, proving their capabilities, and at the end of the day, that's a good feeling for myself and for Eutex because we've hired the right people who've excelled within themselves. Industries that Eutex serve are predominantly the energy industry. I mean, there's a slight change in that and a transition at the moment, but traditionally it would have been the oil and gas, rigs, FPSOs, plants, refineries, terminals, so shipping terminals, where fuel terminals, and also pharmaceutical, where there's more, as many dusts as vapours there. We've also had some recent successes with hydrogen projects within Europe, and even in aerospace. It seems a bit far fetched, but as you could imagine, rocket fuel is highly explosive. So we've been training a lot of people in the space program about safe storage and distribution of that rocket fuel, if you like, to ensure there isn't any sources of ignitions and potential explosives. If you think what Eutex does, it isn't a Eutex driven thing, it's a standard driven thing. So the standards that we follow for hazardous area is the IEC or the EN or the BS or the ASNZS 679 set of standard. So our biggest job is to interpret these standards in a manageable way for our clients. And this has to be pragmatic at times because often the standards aren't prescriptive. They give you the general idea of what you need to do, but it could be interpreted one or another way. So a client might interpret a standard in one way because it might save them cost, or it might be done quicker, or it might avoid a step in a process. And that's fine if we've got a rationale behind that. We could help them to make sure that their strategy for EX, if you like, is compliant. But we need to be there to stop our clients at times as well to say, look, I understand why you would want to do that or why you would like to do that, but you're going to go through a process where at the end, you're not going to be fully compliant. And heaven forbid, you're probably not going to be safe either. So what we need to do is we need to take a couple of steps back and we need to look at a pragmatic approach, maybe a sort of compromise in between, where we carry out something that's in the spirit of the understanding of the requirements, how we could interpret it, how we could risk assess a certain part of the standards and say that we are fully compliant. Then our interpretation and our client's interpretation then becomes aligned, and then we could move forward safely. Turnkey hazardous solutions that Eutex provide. We have a 6 steps plan that completes the full life cycle for deliverables. I mean, that includes training, classification, certification, creation of your dossier and all your documentation, installation and inspection. So it's a full life cycle, 6 steps. So with foresight and buy into these 6 steps with our clients and all these elements, then compliance is virtually guaranteed. So Eutex started from humble beginnings nearly 30 years ago, providing specialty cables for the oil and gas industry. And it's been quite a gradual evolution since then, with so from the cables to complementary glands and accessories, enclosures and all that bulk equipment. And then we started to provide sort of 2010 onwards training, inspection, certification, which really allowed Eutex to provide a complete turnkey solution internally rather than getting a lot of different companies together to supply products or inspection or training or certification. Then Eutex are only companies globally that have the internal capability to provide that complete turnkey solution. In a nutshell, it's all about safety. When we look at it as a compliance program, sometimes that's when it becomes a tick in the box exercise. So ultimately, there's processes and procedures in place that we must comply with to ensure safety. So if we look at the big picture and see that we are ensuring safety, we are not ensuring that every piece of documentation is completed, then the need to be compliant is to ensure safety. Yep, I mean, recently we worked on a large scale FLNG project, and we had early engagement with that client, and they didn't really have a budget for, what would you say, third party specialists to join them on the project. So anyways, they got 6 months into the project, and then they realised that they had about 90% of the items that had been pre-installed were non-compliant. That's equated to about 14,000 pieces of equipment. So they had a big job on their hands. But with Eutex help, they managed to bring all that equipment back into compliance. We talked with manufacturers, we talked with the installations, the EPCs, the OEMs to make sure that they understood the requirements for working safely in the hazardous areas, got the installation up to scratch, and then ensured full compliance before the project ended. Recently, I think all of our processes have become digitized. So all our inspections are now digital. The verification and inspection we do within our ICX and ATEX certification program, that's all digitally cloud-based as well. All our training, we simple things like QR codes for the trainees to log in for some e-learning or pre-learning before the class, QR codes at the end of the class so that they could give us feedback on where we could improve, and then the e-learning part of that all the way down to the digitization ourselves under Eutex for supplying all our assessment marks, if you like, and then for Compex and IECX themselves, they've all moved on to digital platforms also. So I think if Eutex hadn't moved digitally, they would have been left behind with their certification bodies that they work with as well. So 90% of what we do now is digital rather than paper-based. What sets Eutex apart in hazardous areas, I think, is their expertise and their experience. Eutex are an IECX certified inspection facility. So we're audited, and we verify the competency of our staff and the effectiveness of our processes to make sure that we deliver compliant projects, inspection, verification. We're also one of the largest Compex and IECX training providers globally. Again, that's verification of the level that we operate at. And within this, so we've got inspection, we've got training, we're training people, we're inspection for people. And then for our product side of things, these people that we've trained, or these people we've inspected for, or these people that we've not trained and inspected for, they possibly have issues on site where they need to select equipment for use in their plant. So our experience and knowledge then allows us to help them select the right cable, the right cable glands, the right enclosures, the right accessories to ensure safety and compliance with those within those hazardous areas. So the inspection and the training are then directly relevant to our product colleagues who also need to utilise their experience in hazardous areas to help our clients make the right choices. Eutex maintain the reputation. I mean, we have the ICX certification, we have our ISO certifications, our Complex and ICX accreditations also. But I think the way that I would say that Eutex provide a differentiator is that we walk the walk. So we have all these certifications, but what good is a certification without knowledge and experience of doing the work you do on? So we could be seen, Eutex can be seen on various projects around the world, providing safety solutions, ensuring compliance. We don't often shout it off the top of the roofs. We're doing this discussion here today to let people know what we're doing behind the scenes, because we just want to get the safety and compliance job done. We want to get the safety and compliance job done. We should be there to make sure everything's safe. We're not there telling, look at us, we're great, we want to make everyone safe. We just get on with the job, make sure everything's compliant, everything's safe, and everyone goes home safe every day. The invisible face of safety. I think the vision for Eutex over the next 5 to 10 years is to be the go-to company for a variety of engineered safety solutions globally. I think at the moment we're high up there as a leading company when it comes to EX inspection and safety services. As mentioned previously, there's lots of other safety initiatives that we could feel that could complement that EX and ensure complete safety for our clients. I think the future of Eutex, it has to be safety. So what we're looking at the moment is a range of other safety services. So 99% of what we do at the moment is EX, but there's various other safety initiatives that are being rolled out globally that our clients are asking us to become involved with. So these are some of the initiatives that we're looking at to make sure that we have the right capability to perform. Equally, I mean, there's the energy transition piece. We talk about hydrogen, we talk about different wind industries and stuff like that. But even when you look back at the discussion we had earlier from my background in the drinks industry, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of different industries out with the traditional oil and gas that require safety services to make sure that they operate in the most safe manner that they can. I think Eutex next evolvement, if you like, or expansion program will be further in Asia. I think we see a lot of shift towards Korea and China, so we're looking at our capabilities there also. I think with regards to what people understand about Eutex, I think some people come to us for training and they think, oh, Eutex are a really good training company. Some people come to us and we do certification for them and they say, oh, we had a great experience with Eutex. We did that certification product. Other companies say, oh, we did a whole vessel and we upgraded their vessel and Eutex supplied all the cables for us. They were first class with their delivery and the whole day. But what we need to get over to these three different people, if you like, is that we are the same company. So we're not just a cable company or a certification company or a training company or an inspection company. We're that whole turnkey solution. So we want the person or the company that work with us on cable supply to understand that we can ensure the safety of that cable and the glands when it's on their plant, to make sure that it's safe. We can do that for them also. So if anything we want to be known as, we want to be, Eutex are the guys that provide the solutions to ensure safety. So we supply equipment that is safe to use. We train people so they can work safely in that area. We inspect equipment to make sure that it's been installed properly and it's safe to use. So I think if there's a takeaway from this, it's people, we would like more people to understand that we're more than one of the four pillars of our service and product providing. So products, training, inspection, certification. We'd like everyone to be mindful that we have four pillars and not just the individual pillar that perhaps they've worked for us in the past. Anyone wants to reach out to Eutex International, you would see us, we're quite visible on social media. We have a lot of followers on LinkedIn. We do have our own YouTube channel also. So for example, if you look at the 6 Steps program we talked about earlier, there's various videos on YouTube which break down the training requirements or the hazardous area classification requirements and so on, to ensure that if we understand each step of the way, then we'll ensure safety and compliance. And also, if you need to reach out to us, there'll be a link at the bottom here as well.